You can order the brake discs and brake pads used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Turn off your vehicle's ignition. Set the parking brake. Pull the hood release handle and open the hood. Before performing this operation, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace Front Brakes, Rotors, and Pads. We give you a lot of tips on how to do it like a pro. Open the brake fluid reservoir. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels. In order to change the brake pads on your vehicle, you will need to take off the wheels to have full access. Lift the front of your vehicle. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. We strongly suggest watching our video on How to Jack Your Honda Civic Safely before carrying out this step. Don't forget to put the wheels under the vehicle. Turn the disc outwards. This will facilitate the following steps. Ask another person to press the brake pedal. Using a Phillips screwdriver, loosen the 2 screws holding the disc. Insert a flathead screwdriver into the opening of the brake caliper. Lift it off using the screwdriver as a lever by pulling it towards you. This will cause the piston to retract so that the caliper can be removed more easily for the next steps. With a socket wrench and a 12mm socket, unscrew the lower slide pin. Sometimes you have to keep the lock nut from turning by holding it with your fingers or a 21mm wrench. Repeat this process with the upper slide pin. Finish unscrewing by hand. Tip: attach a piece of electrical cable or a hook to one of the strut spring coils. You can now remove the brake caliper and hook it to the previously installed hook. Remove the brake pads. You can use a screwdriver to help you. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the anti-rattle clips. Using a socket wrench and a 17mm socket, unscrew the 2 holding screws on the caliper mount. Depending on the state of the bolts on the caliper mount, it may be necessary to use a hammer to loosen them. Remove the caliper mount. Finish unscrewing the disc retaining screws in order to remove it. Sometimes the disc may get stuck on the hub. If this happens, use a hammer to remove it. In our case, we used a complementary method, which consists of screwing 2 bolts into the holes provided in the disc. This effectively removes the disc from the hub. Finally, remove the disc. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Clean the wheel hub with a wire brush. Then, clean the wheel hub with brake cleaner and paper towel. You can order the discs and pads kit used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Before installing the new disc, it is vital to clean it using brake cleaner and a paper towel to take off the storage paraffin. If your new disc is coated, you can place it directly onto the wheel hub. Put the new brake disc in place. Screw the 2 disc retaining screws back on. Using a wire brush, clean the caliper mount to remove any excess rust that could prevent the pads from sliding. Reassemble the caliper mount by screwing first by hand, then with a socket wrench and a 17mm socket to lock them in place. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Get hold of the anti-rattle clips supplied in the kit. Place the new anti-rattle clips on the caliper mount. Grab the new pads and lightly coat the ends with copper grease to help them slide more easily. Insert the new pads into the caliper mount by sliding them in. You need to check the sliding of the brake caliper slide pins and the condition of the caliper slide pin boots. If they look worn, you are advised to replace them with new ones. Grab the brake caliper. Put the brake caliper back in place and screw in the slide pins, by hand at first. Screw them in using a socket wrench and a 12mm socket. You can use a 21mm wrench to prevent the bolts from rotating. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Don't forget to remove the cable that you used to hold the caliper. Clean both sides of the disc with brake cleaner and a cloth to remove the grease from the new pads. You can now repeat the same process on the other side. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels properly. Don't forget to screw the brake fluid cap back on before starting the car. Attention! Before using your vehicle again, start your car and pump the brake pedal a few times to push the brake pads together again. Try to drive smoothly and avoid sudden braking for the first 30 miles or so to avoid glazing the new pads. Operation complete.
Quality parts, priced right, CarParts.com.